There comes a time in life when we find ourselves in a situation that seems to be slowly eroding our inner world. It feels like an invisible but tangible erosion of our happiness, health, and self-esteem. These moments may seem like a sign of weakness, but in reality, they are a quiet but important sign that something needs to change. Perhaps you are in a relationship where your opinions and personality are no longer respected, and a job that is completely draining you without bringing you joy or a sense of fulfillment. Or you are stuck in a cycle of obligation and guilt that leaves you empty. Today, we will explore moments when leaving is not just an option, but a bold act of courage and self-respect. Along the way, we will draw on the wisdom of Stoic philosophy to help you find inner growth and live in harmony with your own values. Stay tuned, and by the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of when to let go, how to embrace new perspectives, and why walking away may be the most powerful decision you can make for yourself. First, respect. It's the cornerstone of any healthy, harmonious relationship, whether personal or professional. When respect begins to fade, it's felt in every interaction, sometimes even down to the smallest details. Perhaps your ideas are routinely dismissed in work meetings, your partner disregards your boundaries and even ignores your opinions, or your friends seem to forget about your personal needs and desires. These small but profound actions add up and over time create a feeling of invisibility and insignificance. It's as if you're standing on a shaky foundation that's ready to crumble at any moment. The pillars remind us that our self-respect shouldn't depend on the opinions or actions of others, but it can be incredibly difficult to maintain when you're surrounded by disrespect. For example, at work, a lack of respect can manifest itself in decreased enthusiasm, productivity, and motivation. Your efforts may go unnoticed, or worst of all, someone else may be getting credit for your hard work. Not only is this a blow to your professional pride, but it also sends a message that your accomplishments are not being appreciated. The same goes for personal relationships, when your partner, family, or friends treat you differently than you deserve. This kind of treatment is not only hurtful, it's toxic. It can make you question your worth and puts a lot of pressure on your mental health. Walking away from these situations is not giving in, it's a return to your dignity and self-respect. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control: our own actions and reactions. You can't change the way others treat you, but you can choose to walk away from an environment that doesn't respect you. It's an act of self-preservation and a statement that you deserve better. By leaving, you are not only protecting your mental and emotional health, but you are also setting an important precedent for your future interactions by showing the world and yourself that you will not tolerate disrespect. Second, your health. It is your most valuable asset and the foundation upon which the rest of your life is built. If you find yourself in a situation that is negatively impacting your physical or mental health, it is a signal that something needs to change. We often experience anxiety, stress, and physical exhaustion and accept this as the normal course of life. However, when the problems become chronic, these are red flags that cannot be ignored. Working at a job that demands more than you can give can lead to burnout, stress, and serious health problems such as insomnia or high blood pressure. Your body and mind can only handle so much before they start to break down. So it is imperative to listen to these warning signs and take action before it is too late. The Stoics believed in balance and moderation, believing that going beyond one's limits was contrary to the principles of wise living. In personal relationships, the stakes are also high. If constant conflict, neglect, or emotional abuse disrupt your inner peace, it is a clear sign of harmful influence. Leaving such a relationship is not only an act of courageous self-preservation, but also a defense of your mental health. Gradually realizing that your well-being is important and you deserve a better environment gives you the strength to leave these destructive situations. Imagine how your life would change if your health, physical and mental, became your priority. You will find not only inner peace, but also an environment that supports and motivates you. Third, your values. These are the principles that guide you in life, defining who you are and what you stand for. When a situation requires you to compromise your beliefs, it leads to inner conflict, which leaves you feeling frustrated. If your job requires you to act in ways that conflict with your moral principles, every step you take toward compromise takes you further from your true self. Steadfasts like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca believe that following your values and inner integrity leads to a life of meaning. When a job or relationship starts to conflict with your beliefs, it's a sign that it might be time to walk away. This isn't weakness, it's a sign of strength and self-respect. Every moment spent in a situation that conflicts with your values robs you of the opportunity to build a life that is true to your inner self. It's not just walking away from negativity, it's opening the door to an environment that supports and values you. This step is a sign of courage and self-respect, opening new horizons filled with respect, understanding, and growth. Fourth, growth. When we stop growing, life feels monotonous and empty. Without the desire to learn and improve ourselves, we fall into a routine that robs us of joy and perspective. The Stoics believed in constantly moving forward, even if it means stepping out of your comfort zone and changing your surroundings. If your work no longer brings you joy and doesn't challenge you, it may be time to find new ways to reinvigorate your interest and satisfaction in life. Fifth, recognition of your efforts. It's a natural human desire to be noticed and appreciated. When your efforts go unrecognized, it undermines motivation and self-esteem. The Stoics believed that we should not depend on external approval, but they also reminded us of the importance of an environment that values and respects us. If your efforts are constantly going unnoticed, it's a sign that you should reconsider your environment or professional activities. So each of these points highlights that quitting is not a weakness, but a courageous act of self-respect. Be true to your values and allow yourself to move forward in the direction that brings you joy and inner satisfaction. Sixth, guilt and obligation. Very often we find ourselves in situations that are difficult to leave because of a sense of guilt or false obligation. This could be a job where you have long been uncomfortable, but you feel obliged to stay so as not to let down your colleagues. Or a relationship in which you stay so as not to hurt another person, even if they have long since lost their emotional significance for you. Stoic philosophy reminds us that a truly virtuous life is following your own values and respecting yourself, and not being attached to external expectations and obligations. Being in a situation in which you no longer see the meaning and from which you no longer receive satisfaction, you waste time and energy on things that do not bring you any benefit. Refusing such connections is not selfishness, but an acknowledgement that your life deserves to be filled with what is truly important to you. Imagine the possibilities for happiness, fulfillment, and growth that open up when you let go of guilt and external obligations. This release gives you the opportunity to create a life that is more in tune with your true desires and aspirations. Seventh is trust. Trust is the foundation of all meaningful relationships, whether friendships, romantic relationships, or professional relationships. It gives us a sense of security, understanding, and respect. When trust is broken, it is as if the ground has been pulled out from under us, leaving emptiness, doubt, and wounds that do not heal easily. Broken trust in personal relationships, whether through deception, infidelity, or persistent dishonesty, turns interactions into battlegrounds where every step is accompanied by fear, doubt, and inner tension. In the workplace, this may manifest itself in coworkers taking credit for your accomplishments or bosses not keeping promises. The stances teach us that our peace of mind should not be sacrificed to maintain relationships that no longer serve our good. Leaving a situation where trust has been broken is not a sign of weakness, but of protecting your dignity and maintaining your inner peace. Imagine the relief and freedom you will feel if you choose to live in an environment where honesty and mutual respect are central. This decision may be difficult, but it opens the door to new relationships based on sincerity and mutual understanding. Eighth, losing yourself. Perhaps one of the most painful signs that it is time for a change is the feeling of losing yourself. When you are so focused on meeting the expectations of others that you gradually lose your own I, this inevitably leads to internal conflict and a feeling of emptiness. Gradually, you discover that your desires, values, and dreams no longer play a central role, and your life no longer brings the joy you were striving for. Losing yourself can manifest itself in your work when you are so absorbed in your career and external definitions of success that you forget you wonder why you started this journey. You end up at the top, but it doesn't bring you happiness because it no longer aligns with your true values and interests. In personal relationships, this loss manifests itself in constant compromises in order to maintain peace and live up to your partner's expectations. Stances like Seneca believed in choosing our environment wisely and forming relationships that support and develop our true selves. Returning to ourselves is not always an easy process. It requires courage, honesty, and often means letting go of comfortable but destructive situations. It is a conscious step that leads to a life filled with true passions and values, and which makes us more authentic and whole. The stances supported this idea, believing that true satisfaction comes from harmony with oneself. Ninth, the moment when you have done everything possible. Sometimes we put all our effort, soul, and time into a situation, but nothing changes. This can happen in relationships, careers, or personal projects. You try, you make changes, you are patient, but you see that the results remain the same. This is the moment to admit that you have done everything possible, and perhaps it is time to let go. Whether it is a relationship in which you have tried in every way to restore harmony, but all attempts have failed, or a job where, despite all your efforts, there is no improvement, this is a sign that there is simply no point in continuing. The pillars remind us that our lives are limited, and the time we spend on unsuccessful attempts could be invested in more fruitful activities. Leaving a situation where you have exhausted all possibilities is not a defeat, but an act of self-respect, acceptance of your power, and creation of space for new opportunities and experiences. Each of these signs emphasizes that leaving can be an act of courage, wisdom, and a manifestation of deep respect for ourselves. This step helps us direct our efforts to where we are valued, where our efforts are noticed, where our values and goals find a response and support. By letting go, we do more than just walk away from the negative, we open the door to the positive, to growth, happiness, and personal growth. The stances taught that every step we take toward living an authentic life is a step toward a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Each of these decisions requires tremendous inner courage and strength. Staying true to yourself and your worth, even when the world around you pushes you to compromise, is a sign of maturity and respect for your own life. Sometimes letting go is perceived as weakness, but in reality, it is much more. It is an opportunity to say yes to your true nature, to an environment that supports you, and to people who see and appreciate your uniqueness. By letting go of situations that no longer serve your growth and happiness, you take the first step toward a new chapter, one filled with joy, respect, and inner peace. Remember that every day spent in a place where you are disrespected or undervalued is a missed opportunity to build a life where you are understood and appreciated. By recognizing these moments, daring to change, and letting go, you open up a world of new possibilities. These decisions are not easy, but they ultimately lead you to a more whole, fulfilling life that is in tune with your inner values. We hope that this video has become a source of inspiration, support, and wisdom for you on your journey to true self-esteem. Every step you take to move closer to living in harmony with yourself is a step toward true happiness and fulfillment. Stand up for your values, don't be afraid to change your direction and environment, because you deserve better. Remember, your life is your creation, and you have the right to choose the path that leads to harmony and personal growth. If you enjoyed this video and want to receive even more content on self-development, Stoic philosophy, and the art of inner peace, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We are here to support you on your journey to a conscious, happy life. Like, share this video, and leave your comments. Your opinion is important to us, and every new subscriber inspires us to create even more useful materials.